dry with some sunny spells. From Southampton, across the south on 96.7.
Cheers, lads. Cool. See you soon. Hey, heads up. Oh, God, I put gherkin in that. I hate gherkin.
Take it out then.
Well, that's not going to work, is it? There's gherkin in it now. The whole burger's now going to taste of gherkin, so you've ruined that.
You can't ruin food like that. It's rubbish to start with. Now, have you ever had a real burger? With lean mince, onion, Tabasco, fresh sage. All you eat is junk.
Yeah, well, I like junk. It suits me. All right?
Lima Tango 459.
Lima Tango 459.
Yeah, we've had this woman on the phone, Hal, 2211 Road. Said something about chicken legs on the floor and she wants a police officer to pick them up.
Oh, really? Is this a wind-up?
Could be.
Well, look, can't you get a uniform to do it?
It's on your way home, Hal. Sort it out for us, eh? You're the cookery expert.
OK, I'll do it. Now, put him over here. I'll do this. Get away from the smell of that. You can finish my coffee.
Lovely. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
All
right.
Cheers.
Night.
Mm-hmm.
What are you playing on here for? Sit down, Pam. Look at you.
Two little ducks, 22. Detective Sergeant Hawksley. Thank you.
I want you to help me in the kitchen.
With what? Two, 22.
He just fell over. I didn't do anything. Look, please, come quickly over.
Try to keep calm. There'll be somebody with you any minute. Olive.
He shouldn't have come alone. I won't hurt you.
Carol! You with him. You two with
Olive Martin, you stand convicted on 2 counts of murder. You are sentenced to life imprisonment on each count. In spite of your confession and your guilty plea, at no point have you expressed the slightest remorse for what you have done. Your cold-blooded butchery of the bodies of your defenseless mother and sister was as sadistic an act as I have ever encountered. In view of the horrific and calculated nature of this most unnatural of crimes, I recommend that you serve a minimum of 25 years.
Suicide on the Northern Line.
God, people can be so bloody selfish, can't they? I just think it's terribly unhelpful to shut yourself away like this. I mean, sooner or later, life has to go on. Did you think any more about that chap I told you about?
I don't need a therapist, Iris. I'm fine.
You look ghastly. Thank you. Any time. Your ex not still bothering you, is he?
What was it you wanted to see me about, Iris?
All right, none of my business. I want a new book from you.
Oh, God, I knew it shouldn't have come.
I issue your royalty statements, remember? A gerbil couldn't live on what you've been earning recently. Look, love. The rent doesn't stop even if everything else does.
What is it?
I'd say it's right up your street. Olive Martin. She's agreed to cooperate. To go and find why she did it. Why she wouldn't offer a defense, you know, the sort of thing. Inside the mind of a murderer. Serial killers are almost as hot as diet books these days.
She killed her mother and her sister, didn't she?
I want it on my desk in 3 months. 15 grand advance.
If, and only if, I was interested, I'd need 25.
17 and a half.
20.
You're on.
If, and only if.
Hello? Yeah?
Iris, appreciate it.
Don't be too grateful, darling. You haven't met her yet.
I have an appointment.
You'll be separated from her by a table. You can give her cigarettes, but don't give her anything to take back into herself. Understand? Okay. Are you sure you feel all right about being left alone with her? I think so.
Hello, Olive. My name is Rosamund Lee. Glad to meet you. The governor has given us permission to tape record our conversation. It's up to you, of course. I don't have to turn it on. Shall we begin? When were you born? Well, I know the answer to that question. You were born on October the 6th, 1963, and your sister came along 2 years later. Were you happy about that, or would you rather have had a brother?
Do I scare you?
Sorry.
It's all right. I'm used to it. Everyone's afraid at first.
Does that upset you?
Would it upset you?
Yes.
Well then. I'm not what you seem to think I am. I'm harmless. What you see is what you get. So you want to talk about my family?
Both, yes. You and your family. Right, did you always live at home?
Let's start with my father.
Right.
My father, Robert, died of a heart attack 6 months ago. My little sister was called Alison. But I called her Amber. Do you know why? I couldn't get it round the L's or the S. One day I took her to this beach photographer to take her photograph. He said she was the most beautiful girl he'd ever seen. When I gave it to Mum, she said, I don't suppose his camera was big enough to take yours. And my father, you know what he did? He just shrugged. Oh, yes. We're all creatures of abuse nowadays. Will I still scare you? And why don't you give me a cigarette?
Oh.
Are you married?
Divorced.
Children?
No.
Pity. I'm very good with children. Who else have you spoken to?
No one yet. I have an appointment to see Peter Crewe, your solicitor this
Don't you
afternoon.
trust that maggot? He tried to get me certified. He did. Olive, he said, Olive is a paranoid schizophrenic. Well, I'll tell you one thing right from the start. You've probably got more hang-ups than I have. I have an overwhelming compulsion to eat, that's all. I've had 5 shrinks, and each one said normal.
Well, what you did to your mother was scarcely normal.
You never knew her. By my standards, I've done nothing wrong.
So you think they deserve to die?
I'm ready!
I didn't mean it that way. You don't have to go.
I want to.
I'm sorry. I said that.
See you next week, Rosalind.
She did it the day after her birthday. As her solicitor, one was privy to the photographs of the murder scene. I was reminded of an abattoir. Do you know why she's called the Sculptress? Because of the way she carved up those bodies. Very frankly, I'm relieved that she no longer needs my services. Not, of course, that she could afford my fees.
She was on legal aid?
No, as a matter of fact, the father paid.
Ah, yes, he died recently, didn't he?
A happy release.
About any of that, just do it.
And you're his executor?
Yes, I am.
Did he leave any money?
He owned the family house, the murder house. He died there too, as a matter of fact.
Who's going to inherit it?
That, Miss Lee, is confidential.
You know, it strikes me as peculiar that Olive refused your advice to plead not guilty on the grounds of diminished responsibility, because then she'd only been found guilty of manslaughter.
Yes, yes, she would have received a shorter sentence in a secure unit and psychiatric treatment. Look, Olive has a morbid fear of being locked up with mad people. That's why she convinced her doctors that she was sane.
But you must have thought it a valid defense, otherwise you wouldn't have suggested it.
One's clients sometimes think that they know best. Excuse me. Yes. Now, here's the name and address of the barrister that we briefed. He will confirm everything that I've told you. And if you're so keen to know, as it were, her frame of mind, then you should listen to her statements and read the pathologist's report. Now, you will realize that she must have spent several hours calmly carving them up. Her mother was still alive when she started on her.
Mr. Crewe, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye. It's Peter Crewe. I think we have a problem.
Say one for me, Sculptress.
I'm sorry, Father. Did I scare you?
No, Olive, no, of course not. You, you're always welcome here.
That's nice. I want a new diary. One of those ones with a religious quote for every day.
And you shall have one. They're in the vestry.
Thank you, Father.
Oh, and next time we will pray together.
Oh, yes, Father. Next time.
Hawksley and DC Wyatt. Also present is Peter Crewe, Miss Martin's solicitor. The time is 1800 hours on the 7th of October 1990 at Dorlington Police Station. Now tell us in your own time exactly what happened.
Well, my relationship with my mother and my sister has never been close. Nothing had been planned for my birthday, and that upset me, because she'd given Amber a birthday party.
getting tonight?
I decided to treat myself. Take a day off from work at the job centre and go to London. I asked Amber to skip work too and come with me. My mother got very angry about this and stopped her. We had an argument over breakfast and Daddy left for the office in the middle of it. My mother kept calling me names and laughing at me. She said that I was too stupid to go to London on my own. The argument became very heated after Daddy left. Her shouting gave me a headache. I hit her with the rolling pin to make her be quiet. Then I hit her again when she started howling. Amber started screaming because of what I had done, so I had to hit her too. I began to wonder if they were dead. They're very pale and hadn't moved. I know that if you hold a mirror to someone's mouth and there's no mist on it afterwards, it means they're dead. I used the mirror from my handbag. I held it to their mouths for a long time, but there was no mist, nothing. I began to get frightened and wondered how to hide the bodies. It seemed to me that if I could make them smaller, I could fit them into suitcases and carry them that way. So I used the largest of the kitchen knives and a cleaver to dismember them. I've cut chickens into portions many times. I thought it would be easy to do the same thing with them. I had to undress them to see where the joints were. I got too tired to carry on. I'd only managed to take off their heads, their legs and 3 of their arms. Then decency demanded that I rearrange them properly, but there was so much blood I couldn't tell which body was which. And they looked all right, but I must have put my mother's head on Amber's body by mistake.
Didn't sign the contract.
But you made a commitment.
Verbal doesn't mean anything.
For God's sake, Rosalind, how long are you going to go on feeling sorry for yourself? You used to be a very good writer.
Successful, you mean?
It's the same thing. And stop putting yourself down. It doesn't suit you. Look, I've gone out on a limb on this one for you. Sooner or later, you have to put this behind you.
It's got nothing to do with it.
What is it, then?
It's Olive Martin. I can't face it. Nor could you if you'd heard her statement. I mean, Jesus Christ, she makes it sound like she's carving up the Sunday roast.
That's wonderful. You could use that.
I'm sorry. I think you should get someone else.
Look, Ros, take these and give her one more visit before you make a final decision.
Shock when Ellery came hopping in. Where are you?
Go away, Rupert. Just get on with your own life.
I didn't think you'd come back.
Neither did I.
We should have a contract with each other. I mean, an understanding.
Like what?
You trust me and I trust you.
I do.
Swear in God's name.
Why is it so important?
When you were here last time, and you heard me say that I'm good with children, you flinched. Tell me about your child.
I don't have any children.
Girl or boy?
Girl.
She's dead, isn't she? Show me a photograph, Rosalind. I want to see your child. Trust me.
Why? She's dead.
Show me, and I'll tell you something incredible in return. Something true you won't believe. Tell me about her. You have a good relationship with your ex-husband?
He's the father of my child.
Not is. Was. You know what? I think you're a natural liar.
Why?
You're obsessed with him. I lost a child too, you know. Amber got pregnant at 13. She was allowed to have her baby. When the same thing happened to me, my mother forced me to have an abortion. They flushed my baby down the sink.
Was that what your father wanted?
It's hard to know what he wanted. I often wondered if he knew himself. He was weak. Weak-willed and weak-minded.
And your mother?
My mother led me by the nose all the way to the clinic. She butchered my baby.
That's why you killed her?
See? I told you we had a lot in common. 2 dead babies.
Hello, I wonder if you could please tell me when your neighbours might be back.
Look, there's nothing to see, so why don't you just piss off?
I'm actually cooperating with Peter Crewe, Mr. Martin's solicitor.
Want to know about the murder house, do we, eh? Come in, come in. Oh, the kettle's just boiled. Would you care for a nice cup of tea?
Oh, only if you have one.
Infusion leaf or bag?
Whichever you prefer.
There, woman, thing, slam the door on you. She got that house for nothing, you know. Huh, nothing. I overheard you tell her that you come from Mr. Crewe. One of my boys does work for him. Important security stuff.
Yes, I'm just doing some follow-up case research. Did you know the Martins well?
Well, we were good neighbours.
And the girls?
Oh, yeah.
I suppose you know that Amber had a baby.
My wife spotted she was expecting straight away. A boy, signed for adoption at birth. I suppose he'll get the lot now.
What?
Well, all old Bob Martin's money. He must have been worth a fair bit at the end, considering how lucky he was with those stocks.
A fair bit.
Would I be right in guessing around the $500,000 mark?
You might.
Of course. You'll have to find him if he's going to inherit.
Yes, we're looking for him right now.
Can't be easy. Family name of Brown. Must be plenty of those in Australia, eh?
What was Amber like?
Amber? Oh, she was a sweet girl. Convent educated by the nuns. They taught her all the facts. Except, of course, the facts of life. Speaking as a family man myself, it was Bob Martin I felt most sorry for.
Really?
Well, you see, he had no one to talk to, except Ted Clark, the neighbours next door. Yeah, Bob and him, they were very close, like brothers. And then one day, Ted and his wife, they just upped and left. You see, it's a terrible thing to find you living next door to a house of a double murder.
Yes, I suppose there was a lot of gossip at the time.
And for a long time afterwards. Some people say Olive didn't do it, but it was the father even. Can you believe? I reckon the police thought that for a while, but then finally they realised it was Olive who'd done it.
Did you ever wonder why?
Well, maybe she was jealous of Amber. Then, of course, the mother, Gwen, she was heavy on the drink, and there was talk that she drove Olive to it. What with her and Mrs. Clark, I used to think my wife was the only sane person in this road. Oh, God bless her.
Mrs. Clark?
Hygiene mad she was. Used to walk around in nothing but an overall. No undies even. In case she spread germs, I suppose.
Do you know where they moved to?
Oh, no idea. I reckon I was Bob Martin's only friend by the end. I was the first to realise something was wrong when I saw all those bottles outside. Look, I got some cuttings here. What are they? Ah, here, look. You like to look over those for a bit, and I could, I tell you what, I could make us a nice peanut butter sandwich.
Olive was often greedy, deceitful, girls. Sometimes cruel, but she loved her little sister without reserve. It was her best quality. I've never seen such affection between sisters. Olive was always at her side.
You're jealous of them?
None that I could see. Amber was quite the loveliest child I ever saw. Everyone adored her. But I always felt that Olive was overprotective of her. It was as if Olive stepped in to protect others from Amber as much as the other way round.
Sorry, I don't understand.
As I said, Amber was a very beautiful girl. But the face is not always the mirror of the soul, is it?
You're saying that Amber was badly behaved?
Well, nothing so definite. I am saying that her beauty may have blinded people to her real qualities.
And of course, the same could be true of Olive in reverse. Olive told me she had an abortion.
I did hear a rumour. If it were true, it would be tragic. But one never knew whether Olive was telling the truth she lied about so much. And sometimes, of course, she liked to shock people. How did you find her?
She was very bright.
Oh, yes.
I just worry that the only book I'm going to be able to write's a cruel one.
I have a feeling you'll find the truth.
You must try to accept God's grace into your life, Olive. Try to think of God as the loving gardener of paradise. Contemplate the plants, the flowers, the beauty of life.
It's no use, Father. I only understand the real world.
Because that's all that's ever been offered you. But there is so much more.
I'm sorry, Julian. I mean, Father.
Olive, wait. I have a proposal for you. I think you and I should make a pact to give something up, a sort of Christian discipline.
Give up what?
Well, you give up overeating and I'll give up smoking.
I didn't know you smoked, Father.
Oh, the odd puff in the vestry, nasty habit, but I'm prepared to give up if you will. Now that's fair, isn't it?
But eating's the only thing I've got left.
No, Olive, you have me and you have God.
I hadn't thought of it like that before, Father.
Then you'll try?
With you behind me, maybe I can. To me that if I could make them smaller, I could fit them into suitcases and carry them that way. I used the mirror from my handbag. I held it to their mouths for a long time. They're good, aren't they?
Yeah, they're very good. You're clever.
Do what I want or I'll stick pins in you. Only joking. I failed my O-level in voodoo anyway.
Tell me about Sergeant Hawksley, the policeman who arrested you.
Gave me a sandwich at the police station. Only one who understood me.
Why did you lie in your statement?
I didn't.
I've read the pathology report. You lied about the murder weapon. They were actually killed with a knife. You said you waited until they were dead before you carved them up. But your mother was alive. And I know how much you really loved Amber. So why did you say you didn't?
You tell me.
You didn't do it, did you, Olive? Did you? Olive? Who are you protecting? Is anyone there?
Table for one, is it?
I'm sorry. No, I'm not eating. I'm looking for... Are you Detective Sergeant Hawksley?
Who wants to know?
Oh, I've got a card in here somewhere. My name is Rosalind Lee. I'd like to talk to you about... What's going on?
Quiet.
What's that for?
So, what do you want?
I told you I'd like to ask you a few questions about Olive Martin.
Olive Martin?
Yes.
Is that right? You can leave now, Miss Lee. Miss Lee. Goodbye, Miss Lee.
Rosalind Lee.
Lee?
Lee. Yeah, and?
I want to know if she's got anything to do with this. She's been snooping about asking questions about Olive Martin. It's too well timed. Not a great believer in coincidences. Just check out to see if anything comes up on her, yeah?
Yeah, sure. So, you all right?
Yeah. Fine, you know. So, there's...
Sally, she's good, she's good.
Well, that's good. She, looking after you?
Yeah, the best, you know.
Well, you should come over, maybe one night.
Absolutely, I'll sort a day out with her. We'll, look, I'll give you a buzz over this, eh?
You're late. What kept you? Your ex-husband? So, what is it you want to know?
Who did it, Olive? Who are you protecting? Okay. Suppose you know your father left all his money to Amber's baby.
Do you know that my father never visited me here once? He totally abandoned me. Is that what you're going to do, Rosalind? Drop me when you've got enough?
No, I won't.
Tell me about your ex.
I don't want to talk about him.
Do you still love him? You've been hurting for months, haven't you? Is it because he left you?
No.
What did he do then?
If I tell you, you'll say I'm wrong to hate him, and I need to hate him. Sometimes I think it's the only thing that's keeping me alive.
I understand that, Rosalind. You loved him once.
I don't remember now.
You must have done. You can't hate what you've never loved. Not really, not passionately. Real hate is like real love. It consumes you. It's an obsession. I know about obsession.
What was your obsession? Was it Amber? You know, I don't have to write this book. Would that matter?
It might upset you if we stop now.
I don't know if I want to write it.
What would make you want to write it?
Perhaps if you told me who you're protecting.
Oh, no. No, not good enough. You've got to trust me first, and when you do... Tell me, Rosalind. If there was nothing to stop you, what's the one thing you'd really like to do? Come on. Tell me.
I'd like to
kill him.
Why did Olive's father never visit her in prison?
Good night, Carol.
No.
Because Olive refused to see him.
Well, why would she do that? She must have had a good reason.
Be careful what you imply, Miss Lee. What Olive did drove him to his death.
It didn't stop him making a fortune on the stock exchange.
Do you think that made up for what he'd suffered? He was a pathetic wreck. Eaten up with guilt and shame. Oh, yes, she killed him too. She does not deserve to see the light of day, ever.
Amber's son in Australia. Have you managed to locate the adoptive parents? The Browns?
I don't know where you get your information, but I must warn you to keep this entirely confidential. The stigma of the murders. You could ruin the child's future.
Oh, so you do know where he is?
And let me tell you, Miss Lee, I shall not hesitate to take out an injunction against your book if I think it warranted.
That Lee woman, she's on the level. She's a looker, too.
Well, you didn't have to go and read her bloody books.
I didn't. It's one of Sally's.
Since when has Sally been reading books like this? She's waiting for you, is she?
Yeah.
You're in a rush? You look very nice.
Hi.
Hi, hello.
Have a nice evening.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh, what's that?
What was all that about?
What was all what about?
Hmm.
It's my ex-wife. So, what do you want?
What I wanted last time.
Olive Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Nothing to say.
Well, maybe you can explain why I was nearly killed by a runaway car last night.
You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's nothing to do with you.
That's comforting.
Look, I was going to have another glass of wine. Would you like to join me?
All right. So, what sort of restaurant is this, then?
Oh, it's a bloody good one.
I've got a menu.
Yeah, it's just there.
Oh. Thank you.
Well?
I don't get it. You should be packed out.
Do me a favour. If you liked it, tell your friends.
So, Olive Martin.
Oh, you really are persistent, aren't you? No, I don't want to talk about it.
You're the arresting officer.
Yeah. That's why I don't want to talk about it.
Well, don't you think you owe me something after what happened last night?
You just had a 40-quid meal on the house.
Oh, no, that was my fee for playing your stand-in girlfriend. The way I look at it, you still owe me.
Been trying to put it behind me for 5 years.
Well, it might help you to talk about it.
That's what they all say when they want to hear the juicy details.
Look, I'm writing a book about the case, and I want to be fair. I'd like your cooperation. I don't think Olive did it. I think she's innocent.
Oh, now I've heard everything.
All right. You tell me. From the beginning. Please.
I spent 2 hours in that kitchen with the pathologist trying to work out the order of events from blood splashes on the table, floor, and kitchen units. And I remember thinking, this woman is completely insane. But do you know when I knew for sure? It was when we couldn't work out which head belonged to which body. Later on, when her father came to the station, I was the one that had to tell him that his wife and daughter had been murdered and that we had reason to believe Olive was responsible.
Did you ever consider the possibility that it might have been the father?
For a brief time, yes.
And?
Well, we toyed with the idea that he'd murdered his wife and daughter before he went to work and that then maybe Olive had carved the bodies up, but it never ended up. He had no motive, had a cast-iron alibi. He was at the office all day, and a neighbour had seen his wife and daughter wave to him as he left for work. He was whiter than white. Olive removed her victim's clothes so that it was easier for her to cut through their bone joints. Afterwards, she burnt the clothes. It was as cold-blooded as that. Very strange, but later on when... Well, before we took her to the station, she changed into her best dress. She actually turned to me in the car and she asked me if I liked her best dress. Her best dress. 2 hours after she had cut her mother, and her sister to pieces. All the evidence was that she'd done it alone. Footprints, fingerprints, you name it, we found it. Don't sit there and tell me she didn't do it.
I've talked to her. I don't believe she's a murderer.
You've got a lot of experience with murderers, then.
All right. Help me.
Why would I want to do that? She's guilty.
No, help me. Not Olive. As a favour.
I thought we were all square on favours. You're the only person that thinks she's innocent, including Olive herself. Not even as though I'm on the force anymore.
Ah, but it's just like riding a bicycle. You never lose the hang of it.
You really are persistent, aren't you?
Can I take that as a yes? Well, thank you for a great meal.
My pleasure.
You really are a fantastic cook.
You won't get anywhere with flattery.
I mean it.
Thanks.
Oh, my God, Rupert, what are you doing here?
You don't reply to my letters. You won't take my call. I had to go.
Did you? Get out of here. Go home, sleep it off.
Please, Ross. I'm too pissed to go home.
Tell what's her name, you know, your girlfriend. Tell her to come collect you.
She won't come. Sam's sick.
I'll call a cab.
Please, Ross. Why won't you bloody talk to me?
What do you want me to say?
Just, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, that's all right, then. You're sorry. Alice is dead and you're sorry. Well, fair enough. Yeah, can I please have a taxi to Crouch End, please?
She's my daughter, too.
Well, it didn't take you long to get over her, did it? Well, I worked it out. You impregnated your precious Jessica about a week after the accident. Tell me, is your new son a suitable replacement for our dead daughter?
Shit, you really know how to twist a knife, don't you?
Does he laugh like her? Does he wait by the door for you to come home pissed and hug your knees and say, Mummy, Mummy, Daddy's home? Is he everything like Alice was and more? Or is he nothing like her and that's why you have to get drunk and weep every night?
Shut up!
Because every time you look at him, you think about what you destroyed.
He's a baby, for Christ's sake! You're jealous. Jesus. You're bloody jealous.
Jealous? If what you've got is so wonderful now, Rupert, what are you doing here?
I want you to...
You want me to say it's all right? But it's not, Rupert. It's not all right. You were pissed out of your head and you crashed the car and you killed our daughter. And you got away with it. Because the judge said... What was the phrase he used? The judge said that you had suffered enough. What about me? What about my suffering? My only crime was to let my cheap, promiscuous husband see his daughter. I gave it to you. And you murdered her. I was going to kill you. Oh, we should have had this out a long time ago.
It was an accident.
I know. I should have checked she was strapped in. You should never have been driving.
I'm sorry. I won't do this again, I promise. What am I going to do now? What am I going to do?
Go home.
You're the only person who's remembered. It's lovely. I must be the only person in the whole world who has a reason to forget her birthday. My birthday's the reminder that I hate myself. Who did it? Your ex? Did you kill him? No, I didn't think you would. Not so easy, is it?
Isn't it, Olive? How would you know?
One day I took her to this beach photographer to take her photograph. He said she was the most beautiful girl he'd ever seen. And my father, you know what he did? He just shrugged. Oh, yes. We're all creatures of abuse nowadays.
No, nothing.
If we'd have found anything after the murders, we'd have told the police.
Do you mind if I come in? Thank you.
What did it
it look like before you redecorated?
Just done living. A lot of people thought we were mad to live here. Kept asking about the ghouls and the ghosts.
Well, I wouldn't say there are any ghosts here now.
If you want to see ghosts, it's all up here. My dad used to see pink elephants, but they didn't think his house was haunted.
Do you know where the neighbours might have gone?
You mean the Clarks? No. Found a skip full of empty sherry bottles here when we arrived. Oh, and we blocked a gate off there. Their kids must have enjoyed running between the gardens, but we don't get on too well with next door. Mr. Martin only used one room. He lived in here all alone.
No?
Yeah. The windows were... Sorry. The windows were yellow with nicotine. Disgusting. There was no trace of us smoking anywhere else in the house. Just here. Sorry.
Hi. Oh, it's all right. I haven't come to buy anything.
You're selling, perhaps?
No, not that either.
Ah, well, how can I help then?
I'm trying to trace some people called Clarke. You sold a house for them about 4 years ago. They moved out of the area and no one seems to know where to.
Well, I'm new, actually. What was the address?
11 Road, number 20.
Why not take a look at these as you're here? See if I can't tempt you.
All right. Oh, that's different. Pretty cottage. Looks like it might fall in the sea any second.
Pay cash and I'll get you a good deal.
Thanks.
2011 Road. Oh, vendors have asked for no information to be given as to their present whereabouts.
Oh, well, I'm sure they wouldn't mind if...
Sorry. No can do.
All right. Supposing I asked you to make an appointment for me to see this cottage, using that telephone over there, while I stayed here and looked at the detail.
I could, but I'd take it very badly if you failed to keep your appointment.
If I say I'm going to do something, I always do it. Thank you.
Bayview. Viewing sometime Wednesday.
Do sit down.
Thank you.
I'm surprised you managed to track us down. All the way out here?
Well, I know that you and Robert Martin were friends, and I'm anxious to present the fairest possible portrait of the family that I can.
Yes, Martin was a delightful chap. The idea that he could conceivably have been a party to what happened is just sheer nonsense.
Yes, of course. And your wife's statement, of course, proved that he couldn't have done it.
Yes, she saw Gwen and Amber wave him off to work. It's a pity she's not here to tell you herself.
Have you any children?
No. Sadly. We have a canary.
How old did you know the Martin girls?
Well, quite well when they were children, you know, but you know how it is when girls grow up. They...
Boyfriends?
Boyfriends? Well, Olive, I mean... Yeah, I suppose she might have taken a fancy to some young chap when she first went out to work, but I can't imagine that it would have been reciprocated. I mean, now Amber, well, Amber, she was the one who got all the men, but Olive, well, you know, I hope you won't think I'm unkind, but Olive was never a beauty.
Do you think she was guilty?
Well, absolutely no doubt about it. I assume your book won't seek to present an alternative point of view.
To be honest, Mr. Clarke, I'm just at the research stage. I'm not really sure there's a book in it.
Well, I hope that I've been of some use to you.
Absolutely. Maybe I can talk to your wife some other time. Thank you.
I'm looking for Mrs. Lily
When did you last?
Excuse me, Mrs. Taylor?
Take a number.
I was just wondering if I...
Excuse me, do you mind?
When did you last?
I decided to treat myself. Take a day off from work at the job centre and go to London. I asked Amber to skip work too and come with me.
Are you a journalist?
No.
Only I am not selling horror stories. She was my friend, she was a good worker, and I miss her.
Have you ever visited her?
Well, you don't. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose so.
Perhaps you should talk to her boyfriend.
Boyfriend?
Did some work as a motorcycle courier. But mostly, he's a thief and a waster. In and out of prison. You know the type.
Did Olive actually say that she was going out with him?
Well, not in so many words. She lost weight, bought new clothes, made something of herself.
Do you think this boyfriend had something to do with it?
He's a villain. In this job, you get a good eye for scum. Bad lad, bad family.
Merciful and ever-loving Father, Almighty God, look kindly on thy faithful servant Olive and the beauty of her soul.
Amen. Do you really mean that, Father?
I wish you'd call me Julian. Everyone else does.
I prefer the formality of correct address, Father.
Mean what?
About my soul being beautiful.
Of course.
I like that. I want to be beautiful.
I was speaking metaphysically, of course.
Oh, metaphysically.
None of us are beyond redemption, Olive. We all have the chance to wipe the slate clean in the eyes of God.
Is he watching us now, then?
Oh, God. Of course. He's always watching.
I don't think he is, Father. I think it's just the two of us. Alone.
We're never alone, Olive. You must try to believe that.
I will try, Father. I really will try, but it's hard. All I want is for God to see me as I really am.
If you sincerely want to repent, Olive, and find God, then I will not abandon you. I promise you that.
So I can come and see you again? Like this?
Yes, of course. When it's appropriate.
I'd really like that, Father.
Ah, Rosalind Lee, the human boomerang. She just keeps coming back.
Oh, open house, very stylish. You know, there's something about a favourite restaurant. Oh, I can see why this place is so popular.
Give me a hand of that box, will you, please?
Oh, sir.
All right, if Olive didn't do it, why did she confess?
Well, police are good at getting confessions, aren't they?
Oh, yes, right. We beat it out of her. No, I tell a lie. I forged her signature after writing the confession myself. I forgot for a second.
Well, I'm just exploring possible scenarios.
Yeah, the enlightened liberal position. If in doubt, blame the police. Listen, we couldn't shut her up. She wanted to confess, and she meant every word.
All right. We'll say she was lying, say she was trying to protect someone.
Who?
Her father.
We've been through this cast-iron alibi, work and the neighbours.
All right. Boyfriend, then.
You're clutching at straws. Do you really believe that Olive Martin had a boyfriend?
I know she did. Gary O'Brien, a local biker.
Gary? He's just a hooligan and he certainly wouldn't have the courage to kill anyone, let alone dismember them afterwards. And with due respect, he wouldn't look twice at Olive Martin.
Well, I found out about her abortion, which is something you and your highly trained colleagues failed to establish.
Olive told you that? How do you know she was telling the truth then, but lying when she confessed? Eh? You're guessing. Truth lies within a little uncertain compass, but error is immense. Stenciled on my desk when I was a policeman. Who knows why people tell lies?
I think I know when someone's telling me the truth.
Listen. There's something else I want to talk to you about. The first time you came here,
yeah,
I felt there was something between us. Something special.
God, I had no idea.
Didn't you?
No.
What was her name?
Well, I suppose that...
I'm lying to you. You see? You had no idea I was winding you up.
That was childish, that was immature, and that was...
It was rather, wasn't it?
Anyway, I'm not so sure you were lying.
Don't flatter yourself.
I don't. You're the expert on lies. Now, did I mean that or not?
Two five. Yeah, you want to go to Hassler's? Contact Joy. She'll give you a Cuckoo Bushes and a Southampton. Roger Dodge. Sorry, no more deliveries today, love.
I'm looking for a Gary O'Brien. I understand he might work here.
No, he doesn't.
Well, do you know where I might be able to contact him?
Nope.
You see, I'm a writer, and I'm doing a bit of background research on an Olive Martin.
What, who killed her mother and her sister?
That's right. I understand she used to be one of Gary's girlfriends.
No, no way.
Oh, so you knew her then?
The lady looking for me, Marnie?
No, Mr. Whelan. She's an old friend. Popped in to see if I've time for a drink on the way home.
Fine. Well, you two carry on. I'll look up. You, didn't forget to send someone to Hasler's?
Eddie went, last drop. No.
I just want you to tell her that I can't come in today. Yes. Rosalind Lee. You will?
Yeah, I'll make sure she gets it, no problem.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye.
Okay, I'll just leave these here.
Yeah, no
okay.
problem.
Thanks. Gary wouldn't have looked twice at fat old Olive. He'd shudder at the thought.
How do you know?
Well, he's my little brother, isn't he? I thought you knew. No. Anyway, he was only delivering letters.
Well, there must have been pretty important letters. Who are they from?
Client information is confidential.
What time is it? Please. I've got a visitor.
If she comes, she comes. If she doesn't, she doesn't.
I said I've got a visitor! Can you hear me?
Sorry I haven't got time for a drink, love. One lunchtime, this man comes in. Wants an urgent delivery to Olive Martin. He's prepared to pay over the odds if the dispatch rider will hang around outside where Olive works and give it to her as she leaves. Well, this bloke, this Mr. X, what's his name, he says on no account is it to be taken inside.
Why all the secrecy?
I assumed they was having an affair, that they didn't want people poking their noses in.
You mean you never told him his name?
No. Gave me 20 quid, though, which I split with Gary. Whelan's a tight old git, so I've got Gary to do some extra work on the side.
How many letters were there?
I'd say at least 10.
Over how long?
A few months.
And you never told the police any of this? So what did he look like?
Sorry, love, you've had your money's worth.
Well, how old was he? Do you want me to tell your boss you're on the fiddle?
He was about 50, clean cut. Smelt like an ashtray. Not much hair.
Short, tall?
Oh, everyone's tall to me, love.
Would you recognise him from the photograph?
So you know him?
I think I do. I'm sorry, Olive. I mean it.
You are the most two-faced person I've ever met. I'm on the block and it's your fault.
Look, they may not let me see you again.
Good.
Do you or do you not want me to write this book about you? You owe it to me to give me a straight answer.
I don't owe you anything.
Olive, please. I need to understand. I need to understand about you and your father.
There isn't anything to understand.
Not even that he was your lover and you're protecting him.
My what?
Olive, sit down.
Did he send you letters?
I told you that.
Who got you pregnant?
Me, pregnant?
You had an abortion.
I did not.
Then why did you say you did?
I lied.
Why?
Because I wanted people to think.
What?
I wanted people to think that someone, somewhere, fancied me.
Did your father get you pregnant?
My father was a homosexual.
Olive, please stop lying to me.
Why would I lie to you about my dad being queer? Go and ask Mr. Clark what they used to do to each other in the back room. You've seen nothing. Nothing.
Olive, I don't believe
It's your book, but it's my life. What does anybody know about it now except me? Come on.
Welcome home, Olive.
We're not open yet. We're sorry, but you didn't call. Did you get the facts? No, what facts? Of the photo? No.
Is this what you're looking for? New business, Marnie?
Personal matter, Mr. Whelan.
Ah, Reggie Whelan, Managing Director. We can deliver anything. No dawdling with Dawlingtons, that's our motto.
How very clever.
Oh, Marnie keeps us all on our toes here, you know.
Is this the man that wrote the letters? No.
But is this the man that you described?
You must have got it wrong.
All right. If this isn't the man, let's begin again. What did he look like?
Hard to say.
Well, you managed well enough last time. Or was that just to get rid of me? How do I know you're even telling me the truth about this so-called lover? For all I know, your little brother Gary was Olive's boyfriend, and you know a lot more about those murders than you...
Look, I told you.
Molly.
Right, Trog.
I want to speak to Gary. I'll make it worth his while.
Oh, don't do that.
I know you were telling me the truth about your father, Olive. I know he didn't get you pregnant.
Of course it wasn't him.
Oh, who was it then? Was it Gary or Brian?
Gary? I looked pretty silly on the back of a motorbike.
Who got you pregnant, Olive? I came back. Doesn't that mean anything?
It's a start.
You said that your father and Mr. Clark were lovers. Was that true?
I remember him sneaking through the garden gate like a naughty schoolboy, stealing apples from a neighbour's garden. Then he'd closet himself for hours and hours with Dad. I didn't know. Actually, I didn't care very much at the time what they were getting up to. Just thought they were two blokes together having fun. Now we know what kind of fun.
Ah, you've got your doors back then.
For now.
I wonder if you could do me a favour.
Yeah?
Is there any way you can get your hands on copies of the crime scene photos?
Yeah, I probably could. Well, I'm not sure I'd want to. But if it's important to you, I'll ask Jeff Wyatt. He owes me a few favours.
Oh, thank you.
To be honest, I don't get it. I mean, why spend all this energy on a monster like Olive Martin? Why the crusade? I mean, haven't you got a life of your own to live?
No. To be honest, I haven't really.
Would you walk down into the dining room for me, please?
You're wrong about Olive, you know.
Convince me.
All right. Robert Martin was a homosexual. He was having an affair with his neighbour, Mr. Clarke. His family life was a lie. He lived in a back room and he hardly ever communicated with his wife and daughters. Finally, the lie got too much and he killed his wife.
Well, what about Amber?
Ah, well, she just got in the way, so he left all his money to her son as a form of atonement.
And Olive?
Well, she wasn't there. She stayed the night with a boyfriend. She came back, she saw the body, she realised what Daddy had done, confessed to cover up for him.
The way you do in those situations. Excuse me. What about his alibi?
Mrs. Clarke?
Yeah.
I think she's hiding something.
Why?
Well, maybe she knew about the affair. Maybe she didn't want it to get out. Must admit it's possible.
Yeah. I'll grant you that.
So you believe me?
Not for a second.
You know your problem, Hal?
What?
You're an incurable cynic.
Not a cynic, a realist.
So you're not going to help me then?
Huh? I never said that.
All right. You can start now.
What with, the Clarks?
No. I want you to come down the coast with me.
What's at the coast?
A bijou little house overlooking the sea. I made a promise to go and see it.
You're buying a house?
No. It's very beautiful. And I'm a bit of an impulse buyer. I don't trust myself.
And you want a killjoy along for the ride?
Making absolutely sure the customers can't get in.
Very funny. Come on, we'll take my car.
Listen, you're going to tell me what's going on. Why is there never anyone here?
I don't want to talk about it.
Sure this is safe? It's wonderful. It's really wonderful.
If you like this kind of thing.
I love it.
So buy it.
You're supposed to be putting me off.
Anyway, I can't really afford it. Beautiful though it is. Well, I suppose I can with a divorce settlement.
You never told me you were divorced.
You never asked.
Kids?
Nope.
Me neither. Whoa. It's probably best that way, isn't it? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love kids, but if Sally and I had had a baby, this would have complicated things. Too near the edge.
I had a daughter. Her name was Alice. She died in a car crash. She was 6.
I'm sorry, Al.
We don't really know anything about each other, do we? The only thing we have in common is Olive.
At least she's done something useful, then.
You can see the sea from every window.
Oh.
Writing corner. Why did you leave the police, Hal? Was it really what happened in Leven Road?
Well, it got pretty embarrassing having to put my head between my knees every time I saw blood after that. Maybe it was the push I needed. I'd always dreamed of opening a restaurant. After all, I got on with it.
Yeah, and you got your dream. Well.
Ah, no, the poacher hasn't always been deserted. I had a ready-made clientele, my mates from the job. I had staff. I was making money. I had this vision. Me in the kitchen, Sally out front with the customers. A perfect couple.
What happened?
I came home one day and she wasn't there anymore. She'd moved in with my best friend. He was my partner in the force. Turned out they'd been having an affair for 2 years. He made her feel secure. Good old Jeff. Not the type to let the odd dismembered corpse put him off his cornflakes. So, that left me no wife, now an empty restaurant, and...
Feeling sorry for yourself?
No. Just...
Realistic. I know.
Rosalind, I should get back. So, you going to put in an offer?
I don't know. I might. Maybe I should do something completely different. Maybe I should set up in the restaurant business.
I don't have problems without any competition.
All right, maybe I'll invest in the poacher.
Why the hell would you want to do that?
Have I said something wrong?
What is this? Some kind of coded offer?
No.
You think I want to sell out to you?
No, I was just daydreaming.
Poacher is not for sale.
Now, since you mention it, why are you hanging on to the world's least desirable restaurant? I mean, my God, Hal, if you ever do get an offer for that place, maybe you should think about it.
You didn't drag me down here to look at that house.
I didn't drag you anywhere. I mean, all I said was that, know, your business is obviously failing, and maybe you should, you know, sell up.
And you know exactly why it's failing.
What are you talking about?
I'm not being so stupid! It's a set-up, isn't it?
You get a reputation.
Olive, I don't mean to disturb you.
Olive, how could you?
Right, Olive. What have we got down there then, eh, Sculptress? Eh? Turn round. Come on, what have you nicked?
Nicked something, haven't we?
From the chapel.
Your fancy man's grassed on you to the governor, Olive.
It's not what he tells us that's the problem, Sculptress. It's what he doesn't. Take that down. Right, off. Good, robe on. Off. No, nothing. Put it back on.
Wait here, Olive.
What you done now, Sculptress?
Well now, Sculptress.
See what your pals are up to, eh?
Pals, I know what you're talking about.
Here we go.
Hey! What are you doing up there? Get down! Hey! Come on! Or I'll come up there and whack you one. Get out of here! Clear off!
The pair of you.
And you call Olive unbalanced.
Rosalind!
Clark, my name is Rosalind Lee. I wonder if you'd spare a moment.
Not today. Thank you very much.
I'm a friend of Olive Martin's.
How perfectly charming. I'm so relieved you found us. We've been so afraid. Do come in.
Well, thank you. I spoke to your husband earlier. I am sorry. I hope I'm not being a nuisance.
No, I know. He told me all about you.
I believe your husband would have told you that I'm writing a book about Olive Martin. You do remember the Martins?
Goodness me, yes.
Yes, I understand your husband was a very good friend of Robert Martin's.
My husband wouldn't like me telling you this, but I don't like the colour red. Do you know where my husband is?
I imagine he's gone to the shops.
It wasn't Olive. I know Olive. We used to pull Olive's pigtails at school.
Mrs. Clark, the day of the murders, when Olive got into trouble, about what you saw, what did you tell the police?
Nothing. Nothing.
But you said that you saw Amber and Mrs. Martin wave Mr. Martin off to work.
Did I? With so much to clean up. I don't like the colour red. It's too much for me to do.
Where was your husband? Please, try to remember.
Where is my husband? I didn't tell the police. I didn't tell them anything. I didn't.
It's
I
all
didn't.
right, Mrs. Clark. It's
I
all
didn't.
right, really.
I didn't.
Miss Lee? What are you doing here?
I...
How dare you upset my wife like this?
I didn't see the women that day.
What women?
I didn't see them.
It's all right. Come on.
I didn't.
Come on,
I
just
didn't.
sit
I
down.
didn't.
No one's going to trouble you anymore. I have no idea what you two have been talking about. But I've already told you there is nothing more I can do that will help Olive.
I just wanted a word with your wife.
This is my house, Miss Lee. For pity's sake. Can't you see she's seen her?
I know about you and Robert Martin.
You know nothing. If you want to write some sick book about that bloody family, that's your business. Just leave us out of it.
And your wife, statement, of course, proves that he couldn't have done it.
Yes, she saw Gwen and Amber wave him off to work. It's a pity she's not here to tell you so herself.
Children?
No.
This is Rosalind Lee. Please leave a message at the tone or send a fax.
We have a canary.
Well, I've got the crime scene pictures you wanted. You can pick them up tomorrow, or, well, whenever you want. Look, there's some stuff I should have told you. I don't expect you to forgive me, but at least the way I behave might make some kind of sense.
Boy?
Are you there?
Hal?
It's Marnie O'Brien.
Oh. Marnie. Hello.
Gary will see you in the morning.
I have to be somewhere in the morning, but I'm free later.
Okay. But it's going to cost you.
Oh, you surprised me.
Look, do you want this meat or not?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, just tell me where and when.
We are carrying out all your father's wishes. Every effort is being made to locate your nephew in Australia, who will inherit.
I know. My father died 6 months ago. Why has it taken you so long to tell me this?
I'm concerned that your life will soon be receiving a great deal of public attention.
Why should it?
You mean you're not going ahead with the book?
Worried Miss Lee thinks I'm a worthy cause. Don't you want me to get out, Mr. Crewe?
Olive, you know I've always done everything in my power to help you.
I know what you've done for me.
We are, of course, being careful to prevent your nephew's identity being revealed. It would be a terrible burden for him to bear the stigma of the murders throughout his life.
Give me a smoke, Rosalind.
I've just seen Crewe.
I suspended my privileges for 2 weeks. No money, no fags.
What for?
Nothing. Misuse of Chaplin's property. As if they'd miss a few candles.
What do Crewe want?
Told me my father's money will go to charity unless they find Amber's son.
Not if you're proven innocent. I met Mrs. Clark.
She's still potty?
Still?
I remember she had this thing about germs. An addiction to hoovering. One tiny speck of dust and out it came. We could hear it through the walls. First of all, one Christmas, she said she saw fleas in the Christmas tree, so she set fire to it. Mr. Clark was afraid to leave her alone again after that. She's got no kids, you know. You can't seriously believe a word she said. She's mad.
Yeah, but surely...
She's mad.
Olive, please, give me something concrete. Help me.
All right. I didn't do it.
Hallelujah.
You get used to being seen as a monster. Sometimes I even believe it myself. It's easier if people are scared of you. Like they are in here.
If you didn't do it, you don't have to stay here. You didn't lie to me.
I didn't do it.
Most people knock before they're walking. It's manners, isn't it? Fair dues, though, Gary. She was expected. Good point. I'd overlooked that. I'm in the wrong. I should apologise, shouldn't I? Now, you got to admit, that's handsome.
Can't he tell you why I'm here?
You want to chat about the lovely Olive? She broke my heart, you know. Yeah, She sat on his chest.
So you did go out with Olive again?
Oh, yeah. All that flesh. Lovely. Could get lost in there, couldn't you? Of course I bloody didn't. I got standards, you know. 20 stone's his limit, innit? We knew her. Later. I liked her myself. She was all right. She's a bit of an hippo, but pleasant with it. Sort of gentle. Yeah, bit different, Olive. You can say that again. But little Amber, that was a different story. She couldn't get enough of it.
You went out with Amber?
Yeah.
Both of you?
Well, not at the same time. Not quite. No, we're not talking perverted. But little Amber liked it rough. I was shocked. I mean, surprised, you know. Well, you tell me. You look like the clever type. When a woman says no, does she really mean yes? Only Amber was always saying no. But she kept on coming back.
These letters, did you ever open any of them?
I might have got a look accidentally.
What was in them?
Romantic letters.
Who are they from?
You then sign them.
You got me in here for a laugh, didn't you?
I can tell you where they went. Yeah, and the rest. The Beachcombers Hotel, near the West Beach. Dear me, what a thought, climbing on top of that.
Of course I remember her. We don't get very many famous people staying here, you know.
I'm writing a book about her. I think she might be innocent.
Of course she's innocent.
You know that.
It stands to reason. Everybody knows the obvious suspect is never the one who did it.
But she did stay here.
It was that autumn when it happened, an Indian summer. She came with her husband. Nobody ever asked me about it. I made myself available to the police, but they weren't interested. I went up for the trial. Thought I'd make a week of it. It was very disappointing when she pleaded guilty.
About her husband?
Old enough to be her father.
Okay.
No, that's not him. Yes, yes. I thought so. Age certainly withered him, didn't it? He had more on top in those days, but there's no question that's him. You want to see the register, I expect.
Oh, you're well ahead of me, Mrs. Runcorn.
Help me.
All right. I didn't do it.
Hallelujah.
You get used to being seen as a monster. Sometimes I even believe it myself. It's easier if people are scared of you. Like they are in here.
I was allowed to have my baby, wasn't I, Daddy? Wasn't I, Mum? But Olive had to have an abortion. Good Catholic girl as well. It's really bad, Olive. You're going to be damned now, Olive. You're going to go to hell, Olive!
Hi.
You closed early then?
Come in.
I've come for the photographs.
Well, I could have sent them.
Well, I might have got lost in the post.
Can I interest you in something to eat?
No, I'm not hungry, Hal. Thanks.
Rosa.
Yeah?
I owe you an explanation.
Yeah, I think you do.
6 weeks ago, I was a contented chef presiding over a healthy restaurant. Then I got an unscheduled visit from the health inspector. I wasn't worried. I'd keep everything immaculate. You could eat off the floor. He found rotten meat in the fridge crawling with maggots, open bags of rubbish in the larder, and a live rat under the cooker. He said it was the worst kitchen he'd ever seen, and that was the quote that appeared in the local rag front page with picture. Who wants to eat here after that?
How did that happen?
Simple. Somebody put it there. A few days later, I got an offer for the place, a quarter of what it's worth. They tell me they're doing me a favour, that I'll be begging them to take it off my hands by the time they finish with me. I don't respond easily to threats. I told them to piss off.
Why didn't you tell me this before?
The night you arrived, they got heavy. Well, you witnessed that. I thought this is a weird coincidence. Common sense told me you had nothing to do with it, but then the other day I thought you were offering me money for the place and...
And you jumped to conclusions.
I wasn't thinking straight.
Yeah, I noticed. So what are you going to do about it?
I don't sleep. I'll wait. They obviously want this place badly. I don't know why, but they're getting desperate and maybe they'll make a mistake.
How long can you hold out?
Not much longer.
Oh, come on, Hal. Clark was sleeping with Olive and her father at the same time. He must have had something to do with it. I think when Mrs. Clark made her statement to the police, she lied in order to protect him.
OK, so tell me what Clark's motive was.
Mrs. Clark couldn't have children. He'd lost his only chance to be a father with Olive. Martin used to be his lover. He knew how much he hated his wife, so he decided to solve all their problems with one stroke.
Several strokes, actually.
You see, Olive wasn't protecting her father, she was protecting her lover.
The only trouble is, how do you know that Mrs. Clark actually did lie in her statement?
Yeah, well, I admit that's a problem. She's lost her mind. She's got dementia. Oh, it smells good.
Nothing you've come up with will stand up in court.
Yeah, I know. But admit it. Even you are beginning to have your doubts.
I suppose it's just about possible that there is the tiniest chance, and I mean seriously small, that Olive Martin didn't do it.
Yes. I knew you'd be impressed.
Amazed would be a better word.
How? Do you want to kiss me?
Is that a trick question?
Who sent you?
Phone's dead.
Use the phone box. Quickly, come on. Who sent you? I want a name. You tell me. Who sent you?
Piss off.
Okay, now you tell me who sent you.
Crew. Peter Crew!
You okay? There's something I have to do. Okay, I'll call you.
Oh, my God. Where the hell have you been?
I'm sorry. I was asleep. I'm sorry to scare you.
I'm worried about you.
Come on.
I spoke to Jeff White.
That's all right. He'll back me up.
He sounded pretty fed up to me.
He owes me.
He doesn't seem to think so.
I just have to mention Sally's name when he comes running. He's going to feel guilty about that for the rest of his life. Sorry. Just I don't have many cards left to play at the moment. Is it all right being here?
Who else would have you?
Olive? Olive? What have you done? Olive, God will never forgive you. Never forgive you for your wickedness. Cleanliness is next to godliness, Olive!
Crew, my security people tell me you had a little break-in last night.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I hope nothing was left lying around. Have you dealt with the Lee woman?
If she publishes that book and Olive gets out, we are all finished. You told me this deal was watertight.
It sounds like you're panicking, Crew.
Well, of course I'm panicking.
What is it?
I paid Crew's office a late-night visit.
Breaking and entering.
The men at the poacher were sent by Crew.
What?
It's a small world, isn't it?
What, you mean Olive's solicitors, the same man who's trying to get you out the poacher?
Exactly.
Didn't they teach you this kind of thing in the police?
What kind of thing?
I don't know, code breaking.
Well, I was a detective, not bloody MI5. Oh no, I'll try this.
Poacher? You knew that?
I didn't know that.
Oh, hang on a minute. We've accessed the wrong file. This is the Martin account.
Look. Transfer the security account 20,000 at regular intervals in the last 4 months. God. It's $500,000 just sitting there. I suppose he couldn't help himself.
No wonder Crew was so worried about Olive getting out. She wanted to know where her father's money was.
Quite. God. It's going to Leven Road.
Black Belt Holdings, 2411.
Leven Road.
But that's Mr. Hayes, Olive's neighbour. I mean, he can't be involved.
Hello.
I know you don't. Oh, I never forget a face.
I used to work in this area, Detective Sergeant Hawksley.
Always have.
We need to have a few words.
How long have you known Peter Crewe?
Well, you're Mr. Crewe. I never met him.
Doesn't he write to you?
Of course not. Why should he?
Well then, who told you about Amber's baby being adopted?
My boy, Stuart. Like I said, he works for Crewe. Oh, it was dreadful. Bob would have been devastated.
I'm sorry.
The boy, he died.
When?
Well, my Stuart told me a couple of days ago when he came by to pick up his mail, but he never said when. Look, I thought you were.
Is this Stuart?
No, that's John. It's my youngest boy.
But they do work together.
Oh, yeah, my boys, they're inseparable.
You are aware, Mr. Hayes, the betrayal of confidential information is an offence.
My boy?
Or maybe your son didn't realise that. Maybe I should inform him. Where will we find him?
It was John Hayes at the Poacher, wasn't it?
Look at this.
Well, the money's not in the old man's account.
That's where the gate and the fence was.
Naughty schoolboys, that's what Olive called them.
I can still remember the smell. The incinerator was here. God, there was so much blood. Clothes wouldn't burn properly. They just wouldn't burn, they were so wet. There was this flowery apron on the top. She must have stood here in broad daylight just setting fire to them.
But Olive didn't do it, because Olive wasn't there.
She confessed. Why look any further?
I don't think you and I have anything further to say to each other, Olive.
Don't be like that, Julian. I want you to be happy for me.
Happy? Why?
Because I'm getting out of here soon.
I can guess who's put that idea in your head.
You'll see.
I will tell you what I see. A poor, wretched soul who will not face up to the evil she has committed. A deluded woman living in a fantasy world of lies and manipulation.
And I thought you liked me.
Do you really think that your sophisticated writer friend is interested in clearing your name? All you are to her is material, some kind of literary cheap thrill. Do you know what she really wants you to tell her? What it feels like to kill someone. And suppose you ever did get out of here, do you really imagine that she would be waiting for you on the outside? She's not your sister, Olive. She won't look after you. You'll be alone. Completely alone. And God knows that is exactly what you deserve.
Yeah, Stuart Hayes. Hold it.
Good afternoon. Please.
Wait.
Naughty.
Exactly what kind of business do you run, Mr. Hayes?
Security. Business and personal. My job is to make people feel safe. I'm rather good at it.
Your little brother tried to burn down my restaurant. It's a pity he couldn't keep his mouth shut.
I really don't know what you're talking about. And I'll take action against anyone who repeats that allegation.
I've got proof. The crew is illegally sending Martin's money to you to buy up land around the Poacher restaurant. You either talk to us now or the police later. I don't mind either way, but believe me, this isn't going to go away.
I think it's time you and I had a quiet conversation, Mr. Hawksley. Do you play golf? Wonderful game.
It was you from the start, wasn't it? You set me up.
Of course I did.
And you tried to burn me down.
Crude, I admit. Look, you can forget all about your so-called evidence. There's not one single scrap of proof that links me to Crewe. He sends money to my dear old dad. So what? Have you any idea why I might be telling you all this? I thought it might help smooth our negotiations if you knew exactly what you were dealing with. You see, I set my heart on things, and I just keep on going till I get them. I don't give a toss about Crewe. And I don't care whether Olive Martin did or didn't take an axe and give her mum 40 whacks. What I do care about is that land your poxy little restaurant is sitting in the middle of, and I will have it. I promise you that.
Crewe will talk.
No, he won't. He's more afraid of me than he is of prison.
I'm not afraid of you.
Who the hell are you? Oh no, Miss Lee, not
Tell
again.
Tell us about the Poacher.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't give me that bullshit! I've got proof!
Of what? Now, if you're making accusations against me...
We are.
How long have you known about the death of Amber's son? Long enough to spend the money?
It wasn't me.
Who was it then?
He put me under a lot of pressure. Who? He said that once the investors were on board, I'd be in the clear. That's what he told me. Oh, and then you came along with your book. I mean, the child had been dead for years. I mean, he was killed in a fire. You know, Olive was never going to want the money. I didn't harm anybody.
It's Stuart Hayes, isn't it?
But you mustn't tell him that you were here. I mean, Olive's money was safe, you see, in the long run.
Sculptress! Visitors here!
I don't want to see you anymore.
Why not?
No reason?
I thought we were friends.
You're just using me to write your bloody book.
So you do want to stay here, then? You want to be treated with respect in here, rather than laughed at like some freak outside, is that it? I thought you'd have more guts.
You're trying to make me change my mind. Rosalind!
All right. Look. See, I don't believe you did that. Look. I don't believe that. Look, Olive. You didn't do it, understand? You did not do it. Look! Tell me about Amber.
She made my mother's life a living hell. Mum was going to take her to a shrink.
Why didn't she?
Because they were murdered.
I know who your lover was. I think you and Edward Clark spent the night before the murders at the Beachcomber Hotel. When you told him you'd aborted his baby, he left the hotel, he went to Leven Road, and he killed your mother and Amber. His wife lied to give him an alibi. And you, Olive, out of guilt, maybe love, decided to take the blame.
It's not like that.
Then what was it? Tell me, Olive, what happened?
The day before, Amber found out about me and Mr. Clark. She'd taken one of the letters that he'd sent me. She kept shouting that I was having an affair with him. She wouldn't give it back to me. My mother took her side. My mother always took her side. That's when Dad came into the house. He hardly ever came into the house. He'd heard the noise. She told them everything. It all came out. Even about the abortion.
Took her to the clinic to have an abortion! Olive, back!
My mother looked as if she was going to die.
It's true, Dad. She did.
I think it was because Mum knew that Edward and my father were doing it as well.
Damn, Olive! You're gonna go home, Olive.
Never seen him so angry. I walked out of the house. I came back the next day. Well,
You found them dead. Did you stay the whole night at the Beachcomber?
It was meant to be a special birthday treat. I was too upset after the argument. He left saying he didn't think we should go on.
Where did you go?
To the beach. I wanted to kill myself. Now I wish I had.
Did no one see you?
No, I can't prove it.
So you went home.
I let myself in and I found the bodies. I'd gone to the kitchen to get some food. I stepped in the blood before I even knew it was there.
Why didn't you run for help?
I couldn't move. I thought Mum would be so ashamed if people saw her without her clothes on. I felt ill. I wanted to sit down. There wasn't a chair.
Who did you think had done it?
Dad was the only person who knew I wasn't there. He never said a word. Not to Mr. Crewe, not to the police. Daddy did it. He let me end up here.
Why didn't you tell the police you thought it was him?
Because then everything would have got out. And...
What, tell me.
And I was hungry.
You were hungry?
Hawksley gave me a sandwich. He said I could have proper dinner when we'd finished the statement. I was so hungry. I just thought it'd be quicker to say what they wanted me to say, then I could have my dinner. People will laugh, won't they?
No, I don't think so, Olive.
You okay?
You should never have given her anything to eat.
What are you talking about?
If you hadn't offered her a proper dinner after she'd finished her statement, she might never have confessed, would she?
She couldn't prove where she was then.
Olive, what have you done? God will never forgive you. Never forgive you for such wickedness, Olive. Olive, cleanliness is next to godliness.
You know what you and your friend have done, don't you? You upset me. I gave you every chance to behave like reasonable people, but you just threw it back in my face. Well, it won't do, girl. It just won't do. Now, I've got a simple choice, Miss Lee. I can tip you over and watch you make a nice pattern on the pavement. Or I can give you one more chance. What would you do in my position? It's funny. I'm not normally an indecisive man, but I just can't make up my mind. Count yourself lucky, Miss Lee. Tell Loverboy what it felt like to be that scared. Now, listen carefully. Time is running out, and you don't want me to be disappointed, now do you? Get your boyfriend to deliver the poacher to me now, or else next time you go over. Are you with me? Good. Now, one more thing. There'll be no book on Olive Martin.
Oz? Where was it? On the roof. Now listen. Listen. Did he hurt you? Right. Where is he? Because I'm going to kill him.
Even try.
Stuart Hayes. Tell him it's Hal Hawksley. Yes, I'm ready to sell. Name your price. Okay. I'll have my solicitors draw up the necessary documents.
Everything all right?
Could we come in for a moment, please? We won't take up much of your time. Is this official?
Not yet.
Thank you. What was the exact nature of your relationship with Olive Martin's father, Mr. Clark?
Martin and I were close friends. We were very close friends. I don't see what that's got to do with anything.
Well, you were actually more than just close friends, weren't you?
Well, not that it's any of your business. Yes, our friendship found some physical expression. Whatever you may think of that. It still has no bearing on what Olive did.
Except that you were screwing her as well.
There really is no need for that kind of language.
Oh, no, you can lie, you can cheat, you can deceive the ones who love and need you most, but, oh, no, we can't have bad language.
Incomprehensible. What Olive did was incomprehensible.
She didn't do it. You know that.
Not now! For God's sake, not now!
I have to keep everything clean.
Yes, well, why don't you just wait a few moments until our guests are gone? Hmm?
I'll clean up in the kitchen, shall I?
That would be very helpful, dear.
What's
Come
that
on.
woman doing here?
Are you all right, Mr. Clark?
I'm not a homosexual, you know. What happened with me and Martin was that we were loving friends, and Olive was just so sympathetic and intelligent. She has great charm, hasn't she? She's like her father in that way. I was drawn to her.
Neither of them knew that you were seeing the other?
It must seem so sordid to you. But you've got to understand how lonely I was. I mean, I don't blame my wife for that. It's not her fault, but it's her condition. I mean, it isn't her fault.
Nobody said it was.
Al, the day of the murders, the clothes burning in the garden. What was it you saw?
What?
There was an apron on top of the pile.
Yeah, a flowered house coat with a...
Are you sure it was Mrs. Martin's?
Well, we never actually checked, but...
Excuse me.
Yes.
It was your apron. You put it there when you were burning the clothes. You found out about your husband and the Martins. If Olive had been there, you'd have killed her as well.
Wells, I think you're taking this too far.
You killed them, didn't you, Mrs. Clark?
I can't remember.
Try.
Miss Lee, I really...
Please, try to remember.
I can't remember.
It's important. Please.
There was so much blood. On the walls.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Because you killed them.
I killed them.
If Olive had been there, you'd have killed her as well. You killed them, didn't you, Mrs. Clark? You killed them, didn't you, Mrs. Clark?
I killed her.
Dorothy? Dorothy.
I'm sorry, Edward. Sorry.
Is this what Olive wants? To destroy us all?
I don't know what she wants. All I know is she's innocent. I'm sorry about your wife, Mr. Clark.
Original verdict on Olive Martin was unsafe, unsatisfactory, and could not be allowed to stand. As a result, she will be free from prison with immediate effect.
What do you think they were doing?
It's really not my place to say.
After the family argument, Amber, that is Alison Martin, waited until her father left for work and then invited Mrs. Clark in. Why? To taunt her about her husband's affairs. Mrs. Clark was already ill and in her fragile mental state was pushed over the edge. When Mrs. Martin came in, she killed her too.
Listen, I think the important thing is that Olive Martin has actually been found innocent.
Yes.
Okay? And if you want to know any more, I suggest you read Miss Lee's book. Okay. Excuse me.
Gentlemen, as you can see from your information packs, this development offers a remarkable investment opportunity. The potential, I'm sure you'll agree, is enormous. There's a seat over here. Current proposed features for the site include an Olympic-sized swimming pool with tropical water world, 2 floors of fitness suites,
A mezzanine floor with cafes and restaurants, all with premium retail... Oh, I'm sorry.
If you look at the last page of your information packs, gentlemen, you'll see that Mr. Hayes's access route runs directly through land currently occupied by the Poacher restaurant.
My restaurant?
Which you agreed to sell to me.
I've changed my mind. I'm sorry, gentlemen, but the Poacher provides the only direct access, and it's not for sale and never will be. No access. No development.
This is some mistake, I can explain.
In case you're wondering what Olive Martin has to do with this, it's her money that Mr. Hayes has been illegally using to fund this development today. That's right, isn't it?
You think this pathetic little trick has gained you anything, huh? You've just committed suicide, Hawksley. You're a dead man. And you've got my word on that.
Do you know Detective Inspector White?
I really must warn you, Mr. Hayes, that threatening behaviour is a criminal offence. You better hope that Hal, Mosler and Lee live to a ripe old age, because if they don't, I'm going to be down on you like a ton of shit.
Simon, it's finished.
Father Julian, someone else has confessed. Said she did it.
Why?
Because she's wicked, Father. And you're an expert on wickedness, aren't you? I want you to have this. Well, goodbye then.
Olive? You did it, didn't you?
Look, it won't go any further than these walls. Whatever the world may say, you did kill your mother and your sister. Didn't you?